Alright guys, we're at this park here in Chamberlain, South Dakota. We're on the banks of the Missouri River. I wanted to show you guys this beautiful terrain here. And there's a lot of Native American people here. There's a lot of Indian reservations everywhere. But look at these beautiful little hills here. And the terrain is just so much different than what I'm used to in the east. It's a lot more open, and obviously you have the farms and the plains, but then you have like these, once you start getting closer to western South Dakota, which is, we're like right in the center, we're in the Missouri River here, and once you cross over the Missouri, it turns more into like these kind of like little hills and scrublands with a lot of like cedar trees and grasses. But we're at this little park here outside of Chamberlain. It's called Roam Free Park. It's pretty funny. I guess you can just roam around and explore the area, but I thought it was pretty interesting. On the sign it says beware of rattlesnakes, beware of cactus and yucca. So it's pretty funny. It's not something you would ever see in New York, or you know, not really many cactuses in New York, or rattlesnakes for that matter. But here's the scenery here. Here's the Missouri River. It's a nice little town here in Chamberlain. It's a nice little area. So I just wanted to show you guys this. It's Christmas Eve right now, and we're probably going to spend another night over here in central South Dakota because the roads are just impassable. You know, I didn't know coming out here how bad the roads are because, you know, coming from New York, I figured, you know, it's probably similar to New York where, you know, there's a snowstorm and after they clear the snow, everything is good and the roads are good, but it's a lot different here in the plains. And you know, the area is so vast. I don't think they salt a lot of the roads because they just don't have enough salt, and it's impossible to salt, you know, such a huge section of the freeway. So you know, that was the main problem, was that we were driving on I-90 and you know, we got down I-90, and what happened was we had to reduce our speeds to like 20 miles an hour because what happened was the snow, which you can see here, the snow is not that deep. It was only like 3 or 4 inches of snow that fell in the last couple of days. But what happens is they don't salt it, so this powder snow, everyone drives on it and it gets packed from the vehicles driving on it, and then once it gets packed down by the vehicles, it turns into like solid ice, and that's the problem, you know. So, and because they don't salt the highway, it's pretty much, you know, imagine driving on the interstate with no salt on the highway, and there's just a glaze of ice on the whole road. It's just totally unsafe, you know. And thinking that I could go, you know, 500 miles in those conditions to get to the next town, to the next city, is just foolish, you know. We're about 200 plus miles from Rapid City, which under normal conditions would you know, not be that far, but you know, 200 miles in packed snow and ice is just totally treacherous, you know. So, and you know, the local roads actually seem better than the interstate. I just drove around some of the local roads here, and the local roads, they actually have a 65 mile per hour speed limit, which is cool, you know. Out in the east, or back east, it's, you know, local roads are usually like 30 miles an hour because they're a lot more curvy. But here in the plains, everything is flat and the roads are just straight, so they make the speed limits the same as a highway. So that's the status right now, and I thought I would just share this beautiful scenery with you guys. It's you know, when you're not driving, it's really gorgeous here. The terrain is just beautiful, very sparsely populated. Chamberlain, South Dakota. It's a little park here on the bank of the Missouri River. Some Indian reservations further down. Look at this beautiful scenery here, guys. Very, very nice area. Just right outside of Chamberlain, South Dakota. Very interesting trees here. It's all cedars and grass. Look at that terrain over there in the back on the other side of the Missouri. Beautiful. Panoramic view here. One sec. A lot of cedar here. Look at all these cedar bushes here. We're in western South Dakota. Look on the left, there's a vehicle stuck in the side here. Must have driven off in the middle of the blizzard a few nights ago, the one that we were stuck in. Looks like he got into an accident and got stuck over there. But look at these beautiful prairies here, guys. This is my first time ever seeing these prairies in my whole life. This is absolutely amazing. This is really, really beautiful terrain here. Oh, look at the little cow over there. Some cattle. Looks like there's some cattle. I was hoping it was a bison, but looks like it's just a beef cow standing there by himself. Very pretty terrain here. Just wide open. Beautiful. Christmas Day 2020. This is the best Christmas present I've ever had. I've actually given this present to myself. But it's awesome. It's a blessing that God could provide this beautiful weather for us to be able to see what we wanted to see and what we came out here for. Alright guys, stay tuned. I'm going to show you the rest of the South Dakota. We're going to go to the Badlands, hopefully. Check out the Badlands today, and then we'll see what we're going to do from there. So, stay tuned. We're getting close to the Badlands now. We're in western South Dakota. Look at all these big farms everywhere, wide open country. I've never seen anything like this before. Being a northeasterner from New York, this is totally new for me. Very beautiful though. That big stack there. Yeah, I know. That big, I think they keep corn in there. It's huge. Gorgeous weather today. It's 40 degrees. It's supposed to go into the 50s actually the next 2 days. But the weather here in western South Dakota is like night and day from eastern South Dakota. It seems like eastern South Dakota is a lot colder because eastern South Dakota is going to be below freezing the rest of the week, and here it's going to be above freezing in the 40s. So it's pretty interesting, the difference in climate. So we're just on Interstate 90 now. sky here. Blue sky. After that storm, it's really nice to see this sunshine. Wow, look at that. It's crazy. It's like Siberia. Look over there on the right. It just goes all the way to the horizon. Flat. It's wild. Interesting vacation so far. The weather here in the western part of South Dakota is beautiful. It's 47 degrees right now in Christmas Day 2020, and it's amazing the difference between the western part of South Dakota and the eastern part. The eastern part is probably still below freezing and everything's frozen over there, but once you get out here, it's warmer, which is kind of weird. I figured that it would actually be the opposite because the western part has high elevations and it's closer to the Rockies, but it seems like the western side of South Dakota is not as bad on the winters, you know. But it's been an interesting trip so far. So the last 2 days, we basically had to stay in hotels in central South Dakota because the roads were too icy and too difficult to travel on. So we stayed in a hotel the last 2 nights, Christmas Eve and the night before Christmas Eve. But the weather's good for now, and you know, we're gonna enjoy ourselves today. We're gonna go to the Badlands, and I'm hoping we can do the Custer State Park Wildlife Loop and drive through Custer State Park on the Wildlife Loop and see some bison and maybe some bighorn sheep. That would be really cool. But you know, here's the terrain here. We're getting close to the Badlands. We're very close to the Badlands now, and still a lot of cattle farms here, a lot of ranchers, you know, with some buttes mixed in. So it's interesting terrain here. It's a gorgeous day. So what's interesting about South Dakota is they have these gates every couple of miles. They have these they're like gates, kind of like at a toll booth, that they can lower when they want to close the road, and they do that because of the winter time. The blizzards and the windstorms are so severe, so they can actually shut the road down in certain sections of the road, which is very interesting. I've never actually seen that before in the east. There's nothing like that in the east, but they have that here, and I know in North Dakota they have the same thing as well. You know, if there's a windstorm or tornado or a blizzard, they can just shut the road down so people don't get trapped and stranded. So that's a really good thing that they do that. It's very smart idea. Driving on the roads here in the plains in South Dakota, awesome driving. I mean, You can go 80. This highway we're on, Highway 90, you can go 80 miles an hour, and you're just panning across the front. You can go up to 80 miles an hour on Highway 90, and it's just a straight shot, you know, no curves. It's very awesome driving when the conditions are good. You know, when there's any kind of snow, you don't want to be on the highway. Even if it's light snow, it's very deceiving, you know, and I learned that lesson a couple days ago. You know, even just 2-3 inches of snow, it can freeze over, and you don't want to be out here on any kind of snow. You don't want to be out here because the wind just kicks up. Can't see anything. It freezes the stuff. The roads freeze up. But when it's sunny and beautiful like today, the driving is just amazing. You know, very comfortable driving, beautiful scenery. It's awesome. You know, if you have a motorcycle, this is a great road for a motorcycle too, especially in the summertime. This is probably beautiful to drive through with the motorcycle. So the little buttes over there on the right. See the buttes. This is the Buffalo Gap National Grassland. This is just a little scenic overlook here off of Route 90. We're getting close to the Badlands here, so I thought I would just show you guys the scenery here. There's a couple cars pulling in. Look at this beautiful terrain here. It's gorgeous. Look out there, it's just wide open country for a long time. I'm walking on the Buffalo Gap National Grassland here. Very interesting terrain. It's all just grass, obviously. You got this really good dirt here. It's like a very dark, nice growing dirt. It's no wonder that this area turned into farmland, plains states. But there's some ranchers back there. Look at this, guys. This is gorgeous. We're getting close to the Badlands. Alright guys, we're passing through the Buffalo Gap National Grassland, and we're on the way to the Black Hills. You could already see the Black Hills all the way in the back over there, so we're getting really close to the Black Hills. But I want to just pan over a little and show you guys the Buffalo Gap National Grassland here. It's a beautiful area here. It's gorgeous. Very dry, very arid, but beautiful in its own way. So we're very close to the Badlands. I'm really excited to check out the Badlands. Very excited. Alright guys, we just got off the highway here. We're going to take the Badlands Scenic Loop. This is the last gas station before the Badlands. So we've just fueled up, and we're going to head through the Scenic Drive now and see what we see. Looks like it's closed because of Christmas right now, but I'm excited.